Hey, what's going on, guys, gals? Happy Sunday, and hopefully today we can make a few more free throws. Mike Lay. But yeah, so kind of, I guess, to finish what I was saying the other day, right? In acquiring all of the player data and analysis and film, things of that nature, right? What teams like to do to start the game offensively, defensively, to start each quarter, to start the second half, how they play when they're up, how they play when they're down, no matter it's offense or defense. Uh, you know, Offensively, you got to look and be able to decipher what they're trying to do to disrupt your plan. And then defensively, you got to do the same. See what they want to do offensively. You know, fill those passing lanes, fill the gaps. I should say, cut off passing lanes, fill the gaps. But what I've got showing on the screen right now is an example of the rest. I shouldn't say, I told you there's a lot to it, right? And I went like almost an hour and didn't even completely get through player, um, kind of, evaluate as far as scouting goes. But do know that no matter, your better teams, Division One, WNBA even, I think in 2024, signed a deal with Genius Sports, is what it's called, I think. But basically, they take all of this data that I had showed you from before and put that within analysis and the game feel. And that's where you get a lot of the kind of 3D. And then, you can tell it what you want to see when, it's pretty advanced. Uh, Uses AI. So it's really nice. You know, just like I'm showing this clipboard here. Maybe a play they're running out of a timeout. Hey, what's up, Brent? Uh, but back in the day, we used to have hand charts and write those down, and then along with these other things, I've got on the side, like say when you're scouting the other team. Uh, but as far as let me pull up this so they're let's see here. Get rid of that one. Pull this one out. All right. So there's a shot chart from our game. Let me make it a little bigger. From our game 3, which was winnable, obviously. Well, what's up, Corta? Hey, you can always hop up here anytime, man. Um, Brent, here's the shot chart. So these black circles is everywhere the aces shot from and missed. So all you have to do, in a nutshell, since we already know their players and stats, is game plan to keep them out of the paint. Seems simple, and or like I had said previously, pressure on the guard. They can't get the ball there. We know what we didn't do. We didn't make free throws and missed a lot of layup. I think maybe 1 or 2, 3 points off of all the offensive rebounds we got. A little bit of echo. Ooh, still on the mic. I can turn it down. But nonetheless, I'll back off for now. Yeah. Brent, giving it to you straight and just my opinion. Yeah, we're going gambling back in the desert in Vegas here in about 5:30. We should be loading that, getting on that private jet. You're right. We definitely have to have other players show up. I mean, you don't expect them all to, put up 20 and 10, anything crazy. But as Belichick said or says, if everybody just does their job, then we'll be fine. If you've got a layup, then them make it. Which, yeah, was, I was gonna show some film, but I didn't get past 3 or 4 minutes, and it was hard to watch. So, you had Sims, where I talked about, let's just say, Asia likes to go for her layups or towards the rim at a 45-degree angle, right? So you got to change that, make her go in at 67. So, it just changes her shot, the angle. A lot like I use it, a different sport, it seems like, for everyone. We have. I mean, the chances she shoots less than 10 again and not have 10 rebounds. Well, she 9 points, 9 rebounds, or 9 points, 8 rebounds. So, yeah. But that's one of those where I've told courtside before, if you want to take something away, you just understand you got to sacrifice something. So if you want to take away Asia, then I guess you're kind of saying we'd rather the rest of their team beat us, and they did. They multiple players play really well. I mean, who would have thought NaLyssa Smith was going to show up again? I mean, when she played for us, she showed up, 1 and 4 or 5 game 6. Uh, Brent, I think it was in the 3 minute. We were, you know, 7 minute, 7 minutes and some change had gone off the clock in the fourth. Yeah, before we finally scored. But like I say, I told courtside yesterday. I figured it. I said 10-point game. I was hoping it'd be in the Fever's favor, but to say 10, end up being 12. It's close enough. But I said whoever got the 80 first would win, and they did. I mean, who knew it'd only be 84? It's not like us to shoot, or score only 72. But if you look over on the right side, is the Fever. So solid is obviously made basket. All these white circles is everywhere we miss shots from. So I mean, look at all the inside the free throw line. Now we did miss a lot of good looks, you know, from beyond the R. Look, they only shot 5 or 6 threes, so they weren't even really looking for them. So, you know, all of this here, like I say, if you watched any of that, it should have been 15-minute video, and I somehow made it like 45. But as far as scouting, and because there's a whole lot that goes into it. But like I had mentioned when I first started on the live, is uh, teams, broadcast companies, things like that. They use other company softwares like Genius Sports is one of them that I think actually the WNBA just last year signed a deal with them. So they take all the data, analysis, players, stats, percentages, where they shoot from well, where they don't shoot from well, and they put it all into this software, and then via AI, it'll create more or less your player profiles, show the shot charts in more of a realistic, kind of a 3D. It's really nice. Like I say, it's Genius Sports, so you just have to look it up. Not Genius Sports Group. It'll just say technology software, and you can watch some demo things of it. You'll see what I'm talking about. For the game, I don't know, because you know we're watching the same game, but it's, I guess, I see things a little different than you know it's to say, well, Mitchell's law. Well, no shit. So, I hate stating the obvious, but yeah, I might. And I went live because I didn't feel like hitting record and then going back and redoing it. But yeah, so obviously, we make a few more free throws. Um, you know, Odyssey Sims. Doubt she's gonna go over again, but they did make her in, like I say, the few minutes I watched again. Um, some really bad angles towards the basket. That's just where you don't get airborne and then get stuck. You got nowhere to go with the ball. So then you really wanted to get it all the way down there and make a layup. Instead, it looks like, I don't know, we're chucking a brick or something. As soon as her first or second uh, drive to the basket, it might have been her first, but it was like a layup slash. It would have been or looked better if she'd have just shot a floater. But yeah, it was just because she didn't get all the way to the rim. Now, of course, another thing they're doing to start the game, and you'll notice is and they did this last game, uh, was starting that one girl that never starts. So they got two bigs to start. I presume they'll do the same thing again. So we've got to find a way to pick the pace up. We did crazy good on rebounds, but our second chance points, we didn't have but a few to show for it. With two fast break point, that's it. So I don't know what that's all about. But if we can't get out and run, and wear them down where it's close come fourth quarter, and we know that we've all played like Lakes does every game, and we all know the Fever fans at Indy will know that they're spent. You know, then they got Gustafson. All she does is come in foul. I know she can, knock down a few. You can't really count on her to be consistent. But, those were the biggest takeaways. That and, you know, we always say, well, AB, well, okay, we still got to have somebody get her the ball, down in the paint. If that's what they're going to do. If White can't come up with a scheme where players are setting screens for her to cut and make easy layups, and that's just where the whole CC factor comes in. She makes everything easier for everybody, but she's one of one, and that's why they're finding out the hard way. You know, even though we said we weren't going to, maybe all of us didn't, but we did, and we followed the Fever, and we've tried to root for them. It's been tough because the wins look really good, and then the losses look really bad. Like say, just miss free throws. It's, you know, when you watch the game and we go over screen, it's like why? Because look, it where they're shooting threes from. Nobody's shooting them like CC does. So Nobody's shooting at her. So there's no reason to go over a screen. You just go right, top of the free throw, or yeah, free throw circle. Now, when you do that too, defensively, that's a mindset. You done screwed their play up because if their person that's sitting at screen steps down to set the screen, then now they're already off their spot. So it's those little things. There's so many. Like say, you know, expect Asia obviously to have a better game. I don't expect the other players that they had as good a game as they did will not. Smith, if she shows up, it won't be, you know, anything like the past two games. So, you know, White really needs to sit Sims. Start Powers. I would say Petty because she didn't, have any turnovers. She's a little taller. Didn't have any problem bringing the ball down. That's the biggest thing. We didn't really have a turnover issue. We out rebounded huge. I mean, if you look at the whole, game's stat sheet, you might not. We won if you never saw the score. That's correct. Yes. I'm going Fever. You know what, Brent? I'm going to go on a limb again. And I'm going to say Fever by 20. I'm going to give them, or give everybody else some room to play with. But I don't think, the rest of our players come out cold or as cold as they did. We played their defense. I think, obviously we're making those layups, we're making our free throws. You know, I do expect Asia to get hers. The rest of the team, no. You know, Jackie Young, she'll probably still, put up 16, 18, not 25. Um, and for those players, it's fine to D them up, man. Say, lockdown Lexi or whomever. Even if they're gonna play a variety man, then on ball side they need a trap. And when I say trap, I mean up here where this, it's the end of the coach's box is what they call it because it's measured it. In the pros, it may be 32 feet, but normally it's 24. But nonetheless, actually, it looks like 20 compared to the 3-point line. So, probably the same. But yeah, so, get the pressure up in here. And then, of course, what we have to do, and we never talk about it, and I keep moving my mouth like you guys can see it, and you can't see it. Sorry. I'm going to do this. Watch it. Hold on. I need to do this here first. Let me go horizontal. Chuck everybody. 4. Gotta throw them all off. There. Should have had that screen ready, huh? Alright. This is my whiteboard. There we go. Now let me get rid of this one. Now I can make my whiteboard bigger. So you guys can see what I'm doing. I can see what I'm doing. And I agree with you. I expect Kelsey to be back, but this here is the line I was talking about that we need to, force them right or left. So, whoops, I'm drawing, right? On to the right third or the left third of the court. What that will do is allow us to play, let's just say they go to the right. Okay, so now our defense can make them play on that 2/3 of the court. So, yeah, you get the ball over here, you got two, bam. All right, so then we got somebody in here in case whoever's in here wanted to roll or whatnot. Of course, you're leaving somebody low, and then the other here or here in the event that a shooter or at the top, they might try to go around. You got help on the weak side. So now let me hit my eraser. Get rid of some of that. There. All right. So now, likewise, what we have to do, unless we're gonna be popping with the ball, right, is, like I had said, to try to make them do, if I said about halfway in between the three and the free throw line, right? We need to keep it between these two lines. Not go wider than that and leave ourselves no sense. Doesn't make any sense actually, unless it's Caitlin and she's not playing. So no reason to screen here. There's no room. See what I'm saying? You gotta, go on and do like Boston does and set that up here. But they gotta stop his shit with Boston screening here, then turning around, setting another screen here, then turn around, another screen here, and she goes back door. It's like, oh my god, please stop. Yeah, like I said, our guards need to keep it in the middle third of the court. Gets rid of the trapping option for them and the high pressure type of defense. Okay, so that somewhat offsets CC not being there. Let me make this a little bit smaller. So I could see your comments. I agree. what you said, 1,000. Like I say, if our guards would keep it in the middle third, or if we said middle half and call that 25 and 25, either way, and we're doing like we do, right? And by rule, they can't then have a defensive player for her up here. They've got to be within a certain distance, or it's illegal defense. The illegal defense doesn't just apply to the circle under the basket. Let's call it that. Can't think off the top of my head there while I'm drawing. All right, so we got now. This is me saying this and hoping that as far as our offensive half court offense goes, that if you took the whole game and we only have to do that for a quarter of it, not one quarter, the whole same quarter, but just a quarter's worth, 10 minutes of the game, basically. And otherwise, we can manage steals or rebounds and fast break points. And we definitely got to do better with points in the paint. I think they had us by nearly 20 points in the paint. And if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and look. Because I think on threes, maybe we were something along the lines of 6 for 28. It's or 8 for 28. It's close to right at 29.7% or something. So I posted it, when I use my phone, just do a recording or something. Sometimes it seems like you go over these things and it just seems like you're repeating yourself. It gets a little bit, there are a lot of fundamental things. And it doesn't matter, player, coach, you just got to do better. We don't hedge. So they're setting a screen, right? And I had decided they're going to be the O's. Okay, let's see. Whoops, I need to go to that. All right. So then here's our defender. And here's the defender on this player. So, okay, so if it's a fast player up here with the ball, I mean, Chelsea Gray even can pull this off, and she's slow as shit. But right here is just so simple. Just keep on, keeping on, and it's like we'll have a defender here and one over here, and it's like they forget where the ball's at. It's like, for the love of God, you gotta stop the ball. But right here, that's why they gotta communicate. If you know that screen's coming, or it's there, remember they give you a step to. Now, yes, because there's plenty. Because as y'all well know, we get stuck. It's like this. Let me take my eraser. There. Now it's like this, and she goes this way. then we get stuck right there and they don't switch. So at least show. You know what I'm saying? You know she's coming, so step up, show, and force back. But keep this player within arm's reach so you can still, have a hand up and follow him down the lane. And that's just textbook, you know, what do they say? One, one way to skin a cat. But, there's a whole lot of things I would do different than what White does. But I guess that's neither here nor there. Um, yes, players have to execute, but I didn't really see a legit game plan regardless. It seemed like to get anything open, they were all having to work their ass off or dribble all over the country and back to the basket to, you know, get something up within the 20 some seconds or whatever what they had. Well, 24, sorry. Should have said what it was. Like I don't know. But anyway, so, yeah, something like this we used to use, you know, I'd say back in my day, so that was 30, 40 years ago. Now they take all the data and analysis, like the shot chart and the player evaluations, break it all down into this 3D software, and then, with the game footage. And that's where, when you watch football games and whatnot, it'll say, you know, that pass had a 7% chance of being completed. And, so that's where it all comes from. Like I say, it's called Genius Sports. I don't know if it's that.com or what. I don't work for, you know, I don't otherwise have anything to do with them. I just know that the WNBA signed a deal with them last year. So, uh, that's really my thoughts, and the rest of, like I say, a lot goes into scouting and being on a scouting team for any level really that has a dedicated scout team, uh, because you're the one responsible for gathering all this information and putting it together and then kind of presenting it like you would to a business owner, and the only thing they give a shit about is the bottom line. So that's, then it's up to the coaching staff and whatnot to decide what they either do or don't want to do with all the information you just gave them. But like I say, there's two or three, I think, different softwares that they could use. One just gives them the analysis for all the analytics and data, and then the other one gives them more like the shot charts, player evals, the different diagrams, how they start out a game offensively, defensively, how they play when they're up, how they play when they're down. It just, like I say, you'd want to do more than say just this series with the Fever or with the Aces sample size. You'd want to see, okay, they're starting. They did last game. I can only presume they'll do it again this game and start two bigs. Right. So one is a decoy. And it's like, no shit. So who cares where she goes or what she's doing? Let her fuck go stand in the corner. I mean, that's what she did. The one girl, I think that's normally a bench player. But anyway, it's like, dude, who's buying that? No. Just to get somebody out of the way so that, A'ja could take somebody to the rim. There again, it's just me. But I think Sims needs to sit the bench to start and have one that has actually played point guard before. So Petty or Powers. Sims can come in when Kelsey needs a breather. Then you got Timpson. Probably. Actually, she deserves to start over Howard. I mean, what has she got? The scooter store, frequent flyer miles, or something? Because what'd she have? 2 points and a couple of rebounds? I don't know. It's bad. And I said that, and I think Courtside has said the same thing at some point, which is we say that, and then